geez, so this is a big night for you.
Oh, well, I don't know if it's a big night, but...
So, where do you live? You live in Ellsworth?
I live in Ellsworth and I teach in Surrey. I teach middle school at the elementary school.
All right. And you're here in Machias tonight for what?
I'm speaking about my weight loss, that I lost some weight, and a lot of people like to hear about it, I guess. So I kind of give talks every so often. People would ask.
Yeah. Do you do this? How often do you do this?
About once a month, give or take. You know, yeah, it hasn't been as often. I was on Oprah and kind of blossomed from there.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, and so I got several calls. So I've spoken at Calais and Danforth and Mechanic Falls and places like that. And I knew a couple people down here, and they were interested, and they called and said, sure, I'd love to do it. So I celebrated what I call my 4th anniversary on October 1st. On October 1st of 2001, I weighed approximately 763 pounds. And on that date, I started my first diet. And October 1st of this year, 2005, I weighed about 260 pounds. So about 500 pounds
Are you still
later.
losing?
No, the doctors told me to stop losing.
They did?
Because, yeah, they didn't want me to lose any more because I had lost enough, so they were satisfied with that. It was more difficult to stop losing weight than it was to lose the weight.
Right.
You know, because I'd cut so many calories out of my diet. But it's a fun challenge to add calories at that point because I work out enough that I need to make sure I take in enough calories. So. I was always the biggest kid in the class.
Yeah.
I'm 6'6", so I was always a big guy, and I was always a little on the heavy side. And you know, what happens is the older you get and the bigger you get, the less you can do, the less physically active you are, the less calories you burn. I'm from a big family. When big families get together, you eat food, and you eat a lot.
And eat meat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I still love food, and I still eat meat. I just know how to do it smarter. I just need to know how to be more careful. I mean, if I want to eat too much, I can still do it. But
what about the rest of your family? Are they?
None to the extent that I was at. I mean, there are some. I have a brother who probably could lose 50 pounds, but nothing like 100, 200, 300, or 500 pounds as the case was. Nobody like that. I was happy with my life. I was always the biggest guy in the class. I was Big Pete. You know, I went to all the hockey games at the University of Maine. I was a sport nut. I went to all the sporting events, and I just enjoyed life. And I didn't let it stop me. You know, I had people after when I was at my biggest who said, "Why don't you get handicap plates?" And I said, "Because I don't need them. I can move around enough." And if I had too much pride. 60 pounds.
And 60 pounds, you were still able to.
I was still able to get. I taught every day. I didn't miss school because of my weight or health.
Right.
But at one point, I got cellulitis in my leg, and it's an infection underneath the skin. I ended up in the hospital for a week, and they get it cured, so to speak, but it never totally goes away. Once you've had it, it's sort of there. And I ended up with it 4 different times over a period of about 10 years. And the last time I got it, the emergency room physician said, before I admit you, I want you to look at this gastric bypass surgery. And you know, he explained it, and I listened, and I said, you know, and he says, I want you to see the surgeon when you get out of the hospital. But in order for you to do this, you need to jump through these hoops. I had to see a psychologist, and then I had to see the dietitian before I could go see the surgeon. So I saw the psychologist when I was in the hospital, and he goes, you know, so what's bothering you? Why did you gain all this weight? What's your emotional problem? I said, I don't have a problem. I like food. The difference between me and a smoker is you can see what I'm doing to my body. In a smoker, you can't. He goes, well, you know, you got a good point. You know, I'm a smoker. And he goes, you're fine, you know. And that was the end of the interview or session or whatever you want to call it. Got out of the hospital, scheduled the appointment with the dietitian, and 2-hour appointment, and I was dreading it. I mean, you're 760 pounds. Who's thinking about being happy about going to a dietitian for 2 hours? I went. In the meantime, I had spoken to my family about the gastric bypass. I researched it on the internet. I have 2 brothers, a brother and a sister that are in the medical field. They're both doctors, and I have a sister who's a research pharmacist. So I had some people I could talk to, and I researched it. And I went in with pretty much understanding I probably wasn't going to have it done. It was just so invasive, and you know, the percentages just weren't what I was looking for. I didn't like, you know, I was happy with the quality of my life. I mean, granted, I couldn't do some things, but I was still happy. I was a happy person. So but I went in, I listened about an hour into it. You know, she says, before we'd really consider the surgery, we'd really like you to lose 100 pounds. And I go, well, if I can lose 100 pounds, why would I want to go on a diet? Why would I want to have the surgery at that point? I go, if I can't diet now, what's going to make me diet when I have the surgery? Well, you're going to get really sick. So I'm thinking, I have to lose 100 pounds first, then you're going to make me really sick if I eat something I want. Where's my quality of life improving? And my brothers and sisters were worrying about it. I have a darling wife that has been supportive no matter what I did, and I started thinking about them. And what I was putting them through, they were worried about it. I had my youngest sister told me, I didn't dare get too close to you, Pete, because I was afraid when you died it was going to hurt too bad. I learned this after I'd lost the weight, but boy, you hear that and it kind of hurts, that you were putting them through that kind of pressure. So I tried dieting. At the hour into the meeting, I said, this isn't for me, I'm not interested.
This was in 2001.
2001, yep. And she goes, well, let's try and set up a diet for you. We'll count some calories, a 20 calorie diet. And she set up, I said, okay, I'll try it. I'll try anything once. And I tried it. And for the first month, I followed it religiously. I didn't fall off the wagon or anything. And she and I went back and I lost my first 15 pounds. I was pretty happy with it. It was the only time I called anybody and told them that I'd lost weight. I called my mom and I was pretty excited about it. After that, I didn't tell anybody. Each month I weighed in. I'd lose a little more weight. I'd weigh in, but the only person that knew would be my dietitian, my doctor, and my wife.
Why didn't you want to tell anyone?
Well, I put the pressure on myself.
Do you think by telling someone you might just take off some of the steam and momentum that you had?
No, I had made the decision. They don't need a monthly update, because if I have a bad month, the only person that's got to worry about it's me. They're not the one on the diet. They're not trying to lose the weight I was. And I didn't need any extra pressures if I was going to do this. Come to find out, I didn't need to worry about it. I don't like to brag. It's not becoming. But the one thing I will brag about is basically the 3 years I was on the diet, I lost weight every single month. I weighed in once a month. I lost weight every single month.
What kind of weight were you losing?
Anywhere between probably 10 and 15 pounds. I had a couple 30-pound months where I lost 30 pounds. Every month except for 3 months, I lost double digits.